Okay, so we'll look at PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds at 21:9. I was told about this game by a friend, assuring me it was really worth trying out, and my god was he right. This is definitely the next game I am addicted to. I keep getting the urge to go back and play just one more match, which turns into 2, 3, 4, and gosh yeah, it's dangerous. Anyway, first, the ultra-wide support is technically native, but requires a quick settings.ini file edit in order to basically tell the game to stop being stupid. So if you just load straight in and select your ultra-wide resolution, the game just ends up cropping out the top and bottom of the image in order to fill the screen. But this zoomed in view is not only uncomfortable, but shows you less than you would at 16:9. So you need to go into the engine settings file and add 2 lines of text, and this essentially tells the game to maintain your aspect ratio correctly, so you'll see more on the sides of the screen like you always should have. Full details on how to do this mod are in the description. After this, you will notice the HUD sticks to the sides of the screen, there is no stretching to any screen elements or the like. Blood from taking damage, for example, is done in spots randomly on the screen and it has no issue with the extra screen space. The inventory screen is ultra wide, blurring the game world behind. Of note though, whilst some menu elements shift to the sides of the screen, most of it sticks to 16:9, which is perfect. The main menu is ultra wide, though whilst the menu loads in, it shows the room scene full screen correctly. However, once loaded in, it gets black barred on the sides and all the menu elements shift to the sides of the screen, so it could do with a bit of tidying up. The pop-up menu here sticks to the center though, remaining unaffected by the extra screen space. Finally, the in-game menu is ultra-wide, like the map. It just stays like it would display at 16:9, just blurring the sides of the map or menu pop-up box. Performance-wise, the game runs okay. It's an indie early access title, so I don't expect a lot. On medium settings, I was able to stay around 55 FPS, rarely ever getting over 60 at 3440x1440 on a GTX 1080. If you drop the graphics lower, you can get more FPS, but the game does then start to look very basic, so it's a decent middle ground. Graphically, it looks pretty good on ultra settings, nothing to blow your mind, but good enough for sure. So the game premise is actually very simple. You fly over an island in a plane with 95 players, and you all parachute out with absolutely nothing but your clothes, and it's a fight to the death. You can pick up massive numbers of different weapons, attachments, clothing pieces around the map, drive vehicles, and you can see the number of players alive in the top right. Over time, a circle on the map will start to shrink, and if you don't stay within that closing circle, then you'll be killed, so it slowly forces the remaining players into a tighter and tighter spot until one player remains standing. It really is bloody fantastic, though stressful. So once you choose when to start parachuting, you can direct yourself where to land. Be sure to push forward so you dive to the ground faster and make the most of the most vital time in the game. Also, don't worry about opening your parachute as it will automatically do it for you. You don't want to be opening too soon and be sitting in the air when the enemies below have guns and just pick you off. Once on the ground, it's a free-for-all, and you need to find any equipment you can. There are guns, of which you need to find the right ammo for the gun, though they always have a bit of ammo next to the gun to start you off. You have tons of attachments for these guns too, again, weapon-specific, with sights, magazines, stocks, grips, etc. There are snipers, rifles, pistols, shotguns, you name it, it is here. There are also hand weapons like crowbars, sickles, and pans, believe it or not, and many other things, but these are only useful at the start of the game where anything is better than punching. You also have helmets, trousers, shoes, etc. to kit yourself out with more protection. There seems to be just 2 levels of equipment too, level 2 obviously being the better choice, and you can find rucksacks to hold more stuff at once. You can also choose to be in first or third person at any time, which is useful as different moments call for different views. Killing people can be troublesome sometimes, as there is a lot of lag occasionally with some players. They jump sporadically around, and yeah, these moments are terrible, but on the whole, they are in the minority, so it's okay. People can take a decent bit of damage, and if you take damage but survive a fight, you'll see that your health bar is red, and that means you're bleeding and need to heal. To stop the bleeding and gain a little bit of health, you can bandage. To stop the bleeding and gain lots of health, you can use a first aid kit, and this kit can also be used when just low on health and not bleeding and to just regain health. You must also not move whilst healing, which adds to the stress. There are also energy drinks that temporarily boost your max health. The game generally is quiet, you'll have lots of time by yourself, but out of nowhere you'll hear a gunfire or see someone and try and kill them off, and fighting another player is a tense experience when you're trying to see where they are and not get hit at the same time. I frequently die from an unseen player though, and the sound of getting hit makes me jump so hard, as before it was just nice and quiet as I was wandering about. The map is huge, like really big, and it's perfect for the 95 players to explore together and traverse. The need to find transport and keep moving to the center of the ever-closing circles is a fantastic piece of gameplay to force players to not just camp but leave their safe rooms and get into the open. I should note, the controls for this game might seem overwhelming at the start, like many of these types of games. However, I can say they really are not, and the best thing really is just to bind as many keys to your mouse, like crouch and lie down, to avoid missing a key in the middle of a firefight. You can lean to the sides, which is useful, and even aim down your weapon sights, which many people might not realize you can do, as it doesn't show you it in the controls menu, but if you double click your right mouse button, it will use the scope or iron sights on the weapon, which is a million times better for hitting targets accurately. Annoyingly, you can't seem to change this key binding, as I would have liked to switch the single click to the iron sights and the standard view to the double click. You can also swap between single and auto or burst mode on your gun, depending obviously on its options. Some weapons are extremely uncontrollable on auto, so you need single shot. However, being able to spray and pray will be necessary in tight scenarios when you unexpectedly run into an enemy face to face. A neat detail to the game is all the game animations are accurately modeled, and you can hold the Alt key and move your view independently from the character and look at the weapon you're holding as you do things like change the fire mode. This Alt view mode can also be used to look behind you without moving your whole body, which is damned helpful. Now, I would be lying if I said this game had no waiting about. You will be sitting around waiting a little at times. For example, when you start up and look for a match, you'll be put into a lobby with people all running around an army base port thing, which lasts for about a minute or two before you're then sitting in a plane, and then you parachute out of that when you choose. You can wait on the plane as long as you like before leaving and landing wherever you want. The plane does take different routes each time over the island, so your landing choices will always differ. Also, there are lots of people playing this, so you'll never struggle to load into a lobby in my experience, and a lobby has 95 people in, so yeah, a lot of people are playing this game. Final points I just want to say, so I've hit everything I can think of. The game supports character customization outside of the games, though I believe this is only cosmetic. The game does support controllers if you use one, and there are these red circles that appear in random places, and whilst I didn't know what they did at the start, I soon realized it's a death zone. Inside that zone, mortars rain down explosions, so yeah, check your map and don't stray into those areas. There is so much potential for this game. It's already in a fantastic place, but it does have lots of room for improvement. For one, the laggy, sort of inaccurate nature to the game needs to be fixed. You'll frequently find yourself spamming F to pick up items, and like I mentioned, other players can move erratically around the place, which all hurts the fun factor. And with some weapons, I had this big object clipping thing in the left of my screen for some reason. No idea why. It happened on 3 separate games with different equipment, so I know it wasn't a single random event. That said, this game gets updated a lot, and if this rate of updates continues, I have no doubt things are only going to get better. My 2 points for the future that I was thinking about for the game were, firstly, maybe a little tweak to speed things up a little. It is just slightly too slow paced for most people, I think. I believe simply increasing the speed that the circle closes in would do the trick, or make the circles last the same time but make them smaller to concentrate people into a smaller radius. And secondly, I would love new locations. This map is very good, however after 40 games or more, you start to wish for a different setting, just to keep things interesting, but how likely that is of happening, I don't know. Anyway, if you cannot tell already, this game gets an easy recommendation from me. It's lovely to see an early access game like this be actually genuinely fun, and not appear to be ripping everyone off. I'm going to give it a WideAsFcuk score of 4.2, with some very minor tweaks in the future. Its ultra-wide support can be absolutely perfect. So I hope that gives you some information on how the game runs at 21.9. Give this video a like if you found it helpful, and subscribe for future info. For any of the games at 21.9, head over to my channel or the WideAsFcuk website. Hopefully I've covered it. If I haven't, then leave a comment down below and I'll try and cover it. And if you'd like to support the channel, the links to my Patreon page are in the description, and Amazon affiliate links are there too. See you later.